Good evening and welcome as we join you once again on a very special edition to Date with Danu. It's also a privilege for me to have the person who I have today on the show. So, good evening and thank you so very much for joining me today. It's going to be a very special evening, and I am excited about having this show because we'll be talking about some very important things. And it's not the usual date with Danu, it's definitely a very special one. Thank you to all those who have joined us this evening on Daily Mirror. As always, it's fabulous to have you on board. And I would like to let you know today's show is going to be very special. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, you could send it in and we'll be more than happy to do so. As my guest today on the show, I have the well-known the chairperson of the People for Animals, PFA, also known as this foundation, which is the largest in India, which was established in the 90s, and she has done such great work. Namaste. And you can hear me loud and clear, ma'am? All right, excellent.
Tell me.
Yes, so lovely to have you on the show, and thank you so very much for accepting our request. Um, to start things off, you have done so much for animals and the love that you have towards the environment. For people who are watching, tell me what was the start? Why did it all start within you, in you, to do
You
this?
know about Radha and Krishna? Well, one
Yes.
day Radha said to Krishna, he said, Radha said, he said that, you have so many women and you say to each one of them, I love you, I love you, I love you. But you have never said to me, I love you. Why is that? So Krishna said, he said, for me to say I love you means there is a you and a me. But in our case, we are just one. So I don't have to love
Hmm.
anything or respect. We are one. I am the two. I am you. I am each other. So for me to disrespect anything that is a part of me would be so foolish. So I've always felt
Hmm.
that everything is mine and I am everything. So I do it for people, do it for
Oh,
leaves. I feel as much pain when a leaf is hurt as when a human being is hurt or when a dog is hurt. For me, they're all the same.
wa- wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so very much for that answer. You know, we live in a very, I think we live in a very cruel world. We've forgotten the importance of humanity because I have always been brought up with animals from the time I can remember. I have five street dogs who are adopted, and I have one street cat too. And one of my dogs are right now at the back. He wanted to say hi to you, but he's just too busy with his new toy,
I have
so he's not even bothered. But oh wow, space is the issue for us. But what's amazing is the fact that I have always been told that when you have the capability and the capacity to love an animal, you are genuinely easier to love as a human. Do you believe in
I
this?
think that if you have capacity to love an animal or you have the capacity to love everything, in which case, whether you are loved back or whether you are liked back is totally irrelevant. I, you, know, you don't
That's
have to
true.
worry then about the world loving you or anything
Yeah.
because there is so much within you already.
Hmm. So animals have been in the topic ever since the COVID-19 started. Over the fact that it has always been a fear factor for lots of people, whether this could even transmit within animal to human. And it has, I read a meme on the internet saying that having social distance with human is one thing, but having social distance with your own pet will kill you, which is true. So tell me a little bit about this myth that people are having and your expert knowledge in this
Well,
as well,
animals
please.
let's say companion animals, dogs, goats, sheep, cows, whatever, cannot possibly give you coronavirus. And I'll give you a few reasons. One is the COVID or the coronavirus is a flu. The flu family has been with us since the dawn, and the collection family every year it fits. So sometimes we call it swine flu, sometimes we call it some other flu, sometimes it's spring flu or this winter flu or change of season flu. But the point is that time it's a different flu, and yet it's the same family. Now, corona is part of that. Till today, in the thousands and millions of years that we've been around, a single animal has ever got the flu from human beings, or neither can we get it. So why would this flu be any different? Number one. Number two, it has been on for 5 years. Millions of people have got it, thousands of people are dead, and yet not a single animal has got it so far. After all, where are so why has no animal got it? Now we have these stories come in every now and then. One tiger got it wrong, which has been shut for 5 months. By one cat got it in Hong Kong, but they don't know which cat and which cat. One now in one village, one dog have got it. In India, nobody got it so far.
Yeah.
So what is happening is that in these days of lockdown, human beings are really bored. Now, when we were children and we were bored, I remember, what did we go and sit with our mothers and what did they tell us? Bhoot ki kahaniyan, ghost stories. Why? Because we love to be scared. So therefore, and there's channels. What are you doing at home? Watching TV. And watching TV, which goes on and on about COVID. We're bored with it. But they have to keep finding new angles. So why not tell you a ghost story? Why not say, oh my God, one cat has got in Belgium. Oh my, really? A cat has got in Belgium? Kill all cats. Or how is it not a single cat? I mean, there must be millions of people dead, so they're 10 not. But how is it not one animal has got it? So, question of companion animals, having got it, if they had got it, they would have. But when COVID started, we did a lot of research because we knew this would come. And 3 our main research institutes were put on the job. The Haryana Institute, Pantnagar, which is our most institute, it's called IVRI, and Danu, where people internationally come and study in 2009. All 3 of them reported that no cat dogs can ever get COVID, nor can they transmit. Yeah.
COVID.
So, so these are some of now the head of India's community health program, Dr. C.K. Panda. He's also given an unequivocal statement saying that no animals can get it. Now the question then came later on when cats and dogs were finished. The TRPs go up and down. So the next question came that bats can give it. No.
Yes. I was about to get to that, and I read your fabulous answer to it.
Can't give it. You have to eat them. And even if you eat them, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So, firstly, bats can't give it. But if you get rid of bats, then you are in deep, deep trouble because you've lost your major pest controllers. So your farm will lose 20 to 25% of the crop. And the rest of the crop will be so poisoned with pesticides, trying to save it, that it doesn't matter whether you eat that. You don't have to go with it.
You'll anyway get something
leave
or
them alone.
Yeah. Simple as that. So, to pet advisors, to pet owners across the world, what would you advise them, especially during this time? Because I feel that even during these tough days, we have continued in our own capacity because I represented the entertainment industry. We've always continued to keep people smiling. We have given them positive things. And I think it's very important to encourage pet owners to have animals and encourage more people to adopt during this time. I think it's a wonderful opportunity as people at home. What would you tell?
I have no advice for pet owners. They're already on the right track. I have advice to two types of people. One, don't have pets, go and get them. Because even after the corona big scare is over, people have changed in a small way. They are not so happy to go out and mingle. In which case, you'll get lonelier and lonelier. So this is the time you need to have a pet. So go out and get two. So those people who are run communities, gated communities always have an organization which have no legal status, but which is made usually tired people who have better to except be mean. And they spend all their time being mean to people who have dogs, who can't go on the terrace, they can't gated, this, and in India, big problem with these gated communities and the retired people who run them, and they just out. So my advice to them, chill out, appreciate those who are compassionate, appreciate those who love, and in that triple part of yours, the rest of humanity, the rest of the world. That's my.
Okay. On a personal level, I wanted to ask you. You have been a front face in politics and also in humanitarian work. How do you manage these two very opposite yet very interconnected industries or
I don't see any
passions?
difference. I'm not in politics for anything. I mean, I'm the longest serving member of parliament in India, an 8-time MP.
Yeah.
But I really there on my own terms. Nobody expects me to do party work. Nobody expects me to run around giving political speeches, and I never do. I do things that politicians are supposed to do. I look after people. I look after the environment. I look after whatever I can look after. And if every politician would do, we would have a wonderful world.
That's so true. Especially today, we have seen a lot of animals reclaiming their space, from kangaroos to goats to elephants walking. Even in Dubai, we saw camels, or was it in Qatar? One of the two camels taking a nice long stroll on like the main road and taking their own cool time. It is such a rare visual to see. And what has been your thought about
Alas, too shortly. The moment the lockdown finishes, we're going to go back to being the same horrible species that. So let them take a break, a tiny little break that has come after billions of years. And I hope they enjoy themselves.
Yeah, that's the best part of it. Now we have lots of problems in our country, especially when it comes to the conflict that people have faced with elephants and humans. It has been a constant issue. We have had multiple deaths. We have had issues on both sides, and it has been a constant problem. And lately, there was a plan to give a gun to protect the civil community. What is your take on this, and how can we resolve it? If there was an issue like this in India, how
No, we
was
have the
it
same issue.
resolved?
The problem is that we taking the elephant space. We keep moving it. We keep moving it. We stop their corridors. We make villages right in the middle where they go. We expand our footprint. And then where do they go? None of them gentle creatures. But if you drive them right and you separate the herd, kill off the baby, then they get rid of that. Now, I went to my, suppose my house, stood. back the next year and my house, I would get panicky. So you got a forest there, and they come back after roaming around, they come to that forest, and they suddenly find that there's sugarcane there. Or there's something else there that is grown by man. They get panicky. And we then respond by hitting and kicking and, setting off firecrackers and setting fire to their tails and shooting them. What's the point of it? What's the Elephants are huge, huge pollinators in their own way. Not pollinators, as seed spread. About 150 bushes, crops, totally. The dung is the most fertilizing thing that you ever. Now, if you get rid of elephants, you have to take a call on how much you want your people to. If you're going for the sake of votes, just allow villagers to come up at random just so that increase your vote rate, you'll have trouble. And then ultimately, that gets them. When the elephants are gone, then you will realize that you host and an item special culture. You need to preserve it.
Which is I didn't get you there, ma'am.
No, I'm saying you need to preserve your elephants only to help you.
That is true. Now, another thing that propped into my mind as we were talking about this is throughout the years in many countries, animals have been used, especially in situations where religious affairs have come about, for festival reasons, for even sometimes for showbiz. What is your take on it, and how can we express the emotions that an animal can face during this time to people who actually continue doing this?
Well, we banned animals in circuses. We're in court trying to ban elephants by temples because they're just as beggars, just to make. And most of them are beaten, especially when they're in musk. And many die, especially in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. We have moved court elephants from being in temples and but let's see when it happens. I'm against it. I formed an organization in the government where we look at any animal films, and the Animal Welfare Board has to permit to any animal when it's in the script writing stage. To happen is the hero would fight with the tiger. Real tiger, and the tiger would die. He would go and be such a macho snake around. All that's gone now. Animals should not be in human entertainment. Sorry.
Because we have seen the process of the amount of pain that these animals face before them coming into performance and whatnot. Ma'am, would you mind reconnecting, because there might be a drop in audio?
Okay. No, are you reconnecting? We are reconnecting. Which one is it?
I will go back on live again, and if you can reconnect. Sure. All right. Okay. So that's part one, and we might get into part two right now. Sometimes these things do happen in turns, and it creates way too many problems. And let's see if I'm getting this connection once again, because I have to ask about something very, very important that we need to face, and that's, of course, the bill that's yet to be passed in terms of getting animal welfare bill, which is something that we need to really speak about. Right, we can start. Right. Thank you for joining me once again. I'm sorry about the inconvenience. So, we are still to pass the animal welfare bill, and it has been debated by so many people. Lots of people have walked miles, they've spoken, they have created awareness. And something that I have seen in the recent past in Sri Lanka is the fact that we had a few cruelty that was photographed and videoed and put up on social media as a moment of pride, which was really not taken by the government in a nice way. And they did find the culprits behind such acts. It was an abused peacock or an eagle. We have seen such painful videos and photographs. What would you say, and how would you explain to those the importance of having this bill passed?
No,
And what should be the minimum punishment
it is
or
the
maximum?
most important thing in the world to pass an Animal Welfare Act, because you have to live with them. And the more you encourage violence in human beings by making it impossible to prosecute them, the more society degenerates. I'll give you a few things. The FBI in America has put animal cruelty on its list of crimes to watch, heinous crimes. So if anybody in any small town is mean to his dog and there's a complaint at a police station, that record goes straight to the FBI and they keep a watch on that person. And the reason why they've done this is because they have found that people who are in jail for violent crimes, all of them started their careers by being mean to animals. People who are thugs, people who steal with violence, people who are serial killers, all these started off by being mean to animals. And the FBI has to say this, that is, that anybody who is mean to an animal is going to be mean to his child or his wife or to women generally. So it's always better to keep them under watch. Then there was a survey done in America to find out which was the least livable place. So they had various mapdan, what you call this in English, parameters, where they said, is it where blacks live?
Okay.
Yeah. Is it where?
Right.
Is it near jails? Is it near schools? Where it's the most violent places? And they found that it was within one place in America. To anybody who was slaughtering animals during the day would come out and had no compassion.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody there kills everybody all the time, kills animals, kills people, has no compunction about indulging violence. And this is why I say an Animal Welfare Act with very strong punishments for violence against animals is really important to protect human beings. Really important. Because you will find almost everybody who has been prosecuted or anybody with animal welfare has always beaten up and is in the process of some more. It's a protection device.
And it is kind of the start when it comes to seeing such acts of violence build in a person. And we have seen it in multiple movies. And I think this is time that we take these things into real consideration. We are talking about all animals included. We have got a few messages on this. This is not subjected only to cats and dogs and home-based animals. We're speaking about, yeah, any animal
at all.
across the nature.
You find that a child, for instance, parents who think it's very funny when a child stamps on ants, or who's mean, who pulls leaves off, they think it's very funny. But when that same child starts being mean to its parents, they're no longer that funny.
Yeah.
That's,
that's very true. Yes. Something that I wanted to ask you, as someone who loves the environment in whole, what would you advise? I really feel that the younger generation, the youth of today, have made such an initiative in giving back to the environment. It could be in creating awareness about keeping the environment clean. It could be about reusing. It could be about stopping polythene. I think the newer generation has been more welcoming and more adapting towards these systems. Have you seen a change in terms of the society, the into society now, how aware they are about the environment?
I have to be cynical about this. I'm saying the new environment, the new generation for the last 40 years. And it's not true. Children who are about 16 get really enthusiastic. And then by the time they're 21, then they go off for jobs and marriages, and they forget all about this. And then they come back when they have 60 years old. So I'm really quite cynical about it. But I would advise that if we are to save the world at all, it's not about cleaning environment. It's not about anything else. There's two things. One is, let's declare a moratorium in each country on children for 5 years and see where it goes. We less to, if you're vegetarian, you will save the environment whether you do anything else. Because when animal, you are eating electricity, you are finishing off clean water, you are finishing off your health, and therefore you put a huge burden on the medical services. You are killing the animal directly. You are growing and killing your forests because that's where the animal is eating. You each, to make one costs 11 kilos of grain. So thing you can do which is more mental than eat. So I would say that if you do nothing else, don't pick up plastic, don't do anything else, just become vegetarian. You will have done your duty. But that nobody wants to do. You want, you can eat it. You want to say and eat it. And usually for people, love means I love my dog. The emphasis is on my, not dog. No? They don't think twice of feeding a chicken to the dog. But a chicken is as intelligent, if not more, than a dog. It's a much better pet, I have to say, because I have.
Yeah. Okay, that's very, very important. Ma'am, it has been absolutely amazing talking to you, especially about the issues that we are facing and the fact that there are so many people who love all animals, and there so many have written to us, which only just creates one step at a time. But from the time you started this work to today, do you feel
many more people have come into the movement? When I started it in India, it was seen as something that only little old ladies did. And crazy little old ladies, widows, people who should have got a man instead of a dog.
Mm.
And now
The usual.
it's one, yeah. And now it's one, see, so many people come into it. In this lockdown, on on this on day one of the lockdown,
Did I lose you there? Can you hear me, ma'am? Can you hear me? I think I've lost audio. Okay, I've lost audio, unfortunately. This is just not going the way I would like it to go, unfortunately. Let's try it once more before we wrap things up on the show.
yeah,
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I'm,
It's a bit of a bad connection on this side. So tell me the last answer that you were saying, if you don't mind.
I'm saying that when I started,
Mm,
it was a domain that belonged to crazy little old ladies,
okay.
okay, and especially widows. And it used to be said that, oh, she should have a man just because she doesn't have a man. She's crazy about dogs or some
Uh,
other nonsense. But as time goes on, everybody got involved, everybody. And now, when the lockdown happened, I gave my number out to the country the first day, the first night, because I anticipated trouble coming in.
mm,
People wouldn't be allowed to feed. Gated communities would be mean. Animals would need to be rescued. People would need money to feed animals after a little while. So,
yeah.
and I thought maybe 200 or 300 people.
Right. So this time around, I've joined with him, who is very specific about being on screen with me right now. Right. So let's just get to the final bits of the show. We had some problems in terms of the connection. It was just unfortunate that I couldn't finish the last part of this interview. I'm joined by my youngest person.
Isn't he beautiful?
Yeah, he is. His name is Malli, which means the youngest.
I'm trying to get mine to come as well. Come here, but he's sleeping.
This one is, he's my youngest. His name is Malli, which means the youngest brother. He wants,
Okay.
yeah, he wants to go. So everyone is a rescue in our house.
Yeah, can you see? But you can see Tulsi. This
Oh,
is Tulsi.
there. Oh, hi, Tulsi.
This is Tulsi, who's only one of the 26.
Wow, that's a lot of work. And I know for a fact that this connection was also made possible by Anusha David from Sri Lanka, who
Yes.
immense work that she does towards the dogs and animals across. And she's very vocal about it. And she's a feisty one if anyone goes against helping the animals.
Yeah, so she needs an Animal Welfare Act to make her even stronger.
Correct. So that's what everyone has been trying to do. What would you tell the importance of it for us who are watching, and to pass it soon? What would you give as one of the most crucial points to keep in mind?
Well, as I said before, the most important reason for an Animal Welfare Act is because it will save human beings. People who are truly violent and are never punished for their violence against animals will always be violent against human beings, always. If you look at the people in jail for violent crimes, even in Sri Lanka, you will find they started their careers by attacking animals. And because they got away with it, they just got braver. Almost every wife beater is an animal beater to begin with, because beating animals, being mean to animals, has nothing to do with anything except power.
Yeah,
The person
true.
who feels powerless takes it out on somebody that is even more powerless. So it starts off with the base level of animals, and then it goes on to children, and then it goes on to women, and last stage he will attack another man. But by then he is firmly on the criminal route, which is why it's really important to have safeguards for human society by recognizing that animal violence is only a precursor to human violence.
It's just
And
a stepping stone.
Yeah, we brought in our act in 1960.
Okay.
And Pandit Nehru put huge penalties then. Unfortunately, those penalties are no longer, they have no value now.
Right.
So what was 60 rupees when my father was earning 500 rupees is still 60 rupees. But
Yeah, true.
the equivalent of my father is now earning 1 lakh. So we need to also upgrade.
Yeah.
But because I have been around for so long, we've brought in other laws.
Right.
And other safeguards. So that you need somebody in government or in parliament to do that. Can't you find a single politician who's animal friendly?
I'm still trying to.
Okay.
But you know, something that's remarkable what you told me is the fact that when people say, I love my dog, I love my pet.
Mine.
Yeah, that creates, because that becomes a part of your family and that is easy to love. But going out and loving
an obsession. You'll find it, when a lot of people who are mean to street animals, when I confront them, they'll say, no, we have my dog. I love my dog, and I have a dog, and the dog usually turns out to be some pestiferous foreign breed.
Yes. For sure. It's a very prestige oriented thing as well at times.
That's right. You see, when the British came in and conquered every country, if you look at the history of this, the first thing they did was denigrate the local dog species. So we had 18 species with names and specific species. All of them became junglies, streeties, local, dirty names. And they instituted instead, it became fashionable to have foreign dogs, French poodles and Dalmatians and Spitzes. So if you go to Japan, their entire revolt against the British started with one dog. They just got fed up with having foreign dogs. So there was a Japanese dog, an Akita, who used to follow his master to a railway station and wait for him every day. You remember that?
Which is the movie as well. Yeah.
That's right. And that dog became the symbol of the revolution.
Wow.
And so it was part of what was ingrained, into us, that foreign things are wonderful and that local things are horrible, starting with dogs. And unfortunately, our middle classes jumped into this dirty little cesspool and continue to think that foreign animals, but what we have done in India is I banned the import of any foreign.
Okay. Which makes it so much more easier to manage as well. So the street dogs get a chance to become a part of our family. Have you lost me? Oh. This will be my last segment, unfortunately. remarkable conversation it has been, especially considering the fact that I'm sorry, this
No,
internet
I
is a
got
battle. Internet is a battle that we have to be a part of. Um, and also, we have a few questions coming in. People are concerned about big visible animals. How do you think we can work towards being empathetic towards small animals like frogs, insects, etc.? I see this as a huge issue. Is another question we have got.
No, the point is that you need to preserve them all. A frog is the most important animal you have. He's a bioindicator. So the idea is not to make them pets, for God's sake. No turtles, no frogs, no fish. Leave them alone and create habitats for them, or leave their habitats so that they can exist. You don't have to own everything.
Hmm. Okay, so these are such very valuable points, and it has been amazing talking to you, ma'am. Considering the fact that these are tough days, and you took the time to actually go out and sort of give us some of your time. But a normal everyday criticism that people who love animals get is the fact that when people are suffering, what are you speaking about animals for? It has been because we come from a country. India is very close to us in that way as well, where we have a huge level of, income changes.
It's not an either-or situation. It's both. If I love, I'm not going to make people suffer. If I love people, I'm not going to make my dogs suffer. You can do both. Why should a human being be so limited that it's an either-or? It's that question that if every dog or a child was drowning, who would you save?
That is true.
The question is, I'd save whoever I could save. Let me explain.
That is true.
In an either-or situation,
I am losing you, ma'am. I have unfortunately lost audio. Unfortunately. Sorry, it's the last time I'm going to trouble you.
No, listen. I want to tell you this really important thing. A lot of small... That's the 26.
Yeah.
All shouting for their evening meal. A lot of small politicians want to respond to local... Just a minute, I'm just shut down.
Okay. I can so relate to this problem. I have so many of them. I always make sure that they're out, and I close the door, and I just have the little one with me.
I'll shut the door on them.
It's the same thing for us, yeah.
No, it won't make any difference.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, people who hate animals, or people who just don't want to be bothered with animals on the street, or people who are scared of animals, it's a phobia in itself. They get very vociferous, and they go to their local politicians and demand that they be killed. And they are much stronger in their voices of hatred, because hatred is always stronger than love. So they then demand they killed. And local politicians then raise their voice locally, saying kill this. Now, I just want, this is a message for politicians because they need to understand the science of it. In Surat is one of the most prosperous cities. In fact, it is most prosperous, much more prosperous than Bombay. Now, in Surat, a commissioner who came in, a local, person who looks after the city, what we call the district magistrate or district commissioner, he
Okay. Right, for the final segment, because she was giving some very important points when we had to close this section, which I'm trying to reconnect with her. We are in conversation with a spectacular person who has contributed so much of her life towards the environment, animals, and making sure that everyone lives in a very positive way. Maneka Sanjay Gandhi. Let's see if I can connect with her. And this is for the final segment. She's joined us once again. Absolutely patient. Thank you for being absolutely patient.
That's okay.
All right. So you were telling
look,
me.
I'm going to quickly finish what I was
Okay.
going to say. Okay.
Yes.
So when I said that they killed all the dogs, every single one in Surat, within 2 weeks, the rats came above board. And rats stay underground, not because they're scared of humans. They don't give a damn about humans. They came up above board because they were scared before of dogs. So when the dogs weren't there, 2 rats become 33,000 in 1 year. So these rats came above board. Yes, because they breed every 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, 2 become, every 6 weeks, their children will breed and their children will breed. And there's no way you can stop them. But they stay underground. You only find them when you start digging to make a house, for instance.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came above ground and we have pictures of millions of rats in Surat. Suddenly, from being the most prosperous city, it became the most frightening city. And people started getting bitten by rats. And the plague started. And as we are covering our faces with masks now, we were covering them then and nobody was going out because the plague is truly frightening. All tourism stopped for 2 years. We had an economic crisis because some idiot of a commissioner killed all the dogs in Surat. So when you get rid of community animals, just think about the fact that New York has decided to return dogs to the streets instead of killing them because they can no longer cope with the rats.
That's amazing. Sometimes the circle of life always wins, and that's the amazing part of it. Always. Before we wrap things up, thank you so very much for joining me. And it's remarkable to know that you had the heart and time to speak to us. And more than that, when I was connected to you, I was told you can speak to ma'am whenever you want to, ask her any questions that you want to. And that type of communication means so much, to know that you have such a big heart and so much of time for a passion that you are very, 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 very fond of. Thank you so much. And something that I don't know, I think he's your assistant or your manager or PA, or he told me one thing. He told me one thing though. He said, she doesn't care about designation, about the photograph, nothing. She only cares about the information that the interview will carry. So, and that's wonderful to hear. And I think people like you is what keeps this world still balanced. and remarkable work. And a big thank you to Anusha David as well for creating this connection. And this interview, this exclusive interview, is published today on the papers. You can read the e-papers on Daily Mirror to take a read of what the interview has to say.
Can I, through you, thank the island, which has been carrying my articles for the last 20 years. I'd like to thank them as well.
All right. You have yourself a wonderful day, and thank you so very much for everything that you're doing.
And good luck with your Animal Welfare Act. I hope it comes.
Yes, we hope to. All right. Bye to all 26 of them, and take care of it. Take care. Bye.
I have 15 monkeys as well.
What?
Yeah, they come every morning. They relax because I've turned my house into a forest. So they come.
Wow.
My house is the only forest in Delhi. So they come, they sit in the forest. It's all my house, and they eat the mango. They do what they want, and we feed them. Then they come and go. We have snakes. We like them.
Okay.
We have mongooses, and it's just a small little patch in the center of Delhi, right near Parliament.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, and we've taken over the streets as well and turned it green.
Oh, superb. Well, with the whole COVID-19, I've had 2 monkeys coming by our place. They're quite loud, though.
No, that's fine. As long as the dogs are downstairs, they don't come downstairs.
Yes, I thought as well.
Them. Yeah, you need to feed them.
Yeah, they do eat. They're quite self-serving. Let's put it that way.
One step below.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so very much. And I'm sure if you and I talk about animals, we'll be talking for a long time. So
that's it.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care and God bless. Okay.
Thank you. There's one more person who wants to interview me.
So with that, we need to wrap things up on Date with Danu today. It has been a remarkable conversation, knowing that it's coming from someone who has won many battles towards keeping the environment safe and having a balanced environment. Until we see you with another cool episode to Date with Danu, you take care. I'm so sorry about the ins and outs of this live feature, as we were having some connection issues. We will see you soon. Thank you.